NHL review, October 16, 2018. I chugged a big glass of water before I started this. I've never done so many games on the board before. The black marker is for the winners, the blue markers for the losers. Try and keep up. Okay, Vancouver Canucks win 3-2 over Pittsburgh Penguins in overtime. Vancouver wins again! But Pittsburgh starts the scoring with Getzel gets on the board first, unassisted. That's his fourth of the year. Then Vancouver evens it up. Hutton gets his first goal of the year, assisted by Schaller and Granlund. Then Vancouver takes the lead. Sutter gets a second of the year, and Schaller gets his second assist of the night, and Mott also assists. The second, there's no goals. In the third, with, I don't know, I think it was less than 4 minutes remaining, Hagelin scores his first of the year. Timing on that was perfect, assisted by Kessel and Malkin. In overtime, Besser kills it. The Giant awakens. That's his second goal of the season. The Canucks are 0 for 1 on the power play on the night. Pittsburgh's 0 for 2. Nielsen from the Canucks saves 26 of 28 saves, not too shabby. And DeSmith from the Penguins saves 23 of 26. Meh. Vancouver's now 4-2-0 with 8 points, and their first game without Pettersson. That's right, I said Pettersson, not Peterson. And Pittsburgh is now 2-1-2 with 5 points. They're going to face Toronto next on Thursday. Next game, New Jersey 3-0 over the Dallas Stars. In the first, the Devils started off with Palmieri again, his 7th goal of the season. That's 7 goals in 4 games. On fire. I'm not sure if he leads his league in scoring. I think Matthews still does, but he's up there. And that was on the power play. He was assisted by Butcher and Hall. In the second period, Jersey scores again. Coleman gets his second, assisted by Severson. Then Jersey gets their last goal right after that, scored by D. That's his 3rd goal of the season, unassisted. In the third period, nobody scores. The Devils went 1 for 6 on the power play. The Stars went 0 for 3, which is weird because I think Dallas, at least up until that night, was number 1 in the league, just ahead of Toronto. In net for the Devils, Kincaid got the shutout for 24 saves. For Dallas, Hudobin, who played for Boston last year, backed up Rask, if you remember, saved 31 of 34. Not too bad. The Devils are now 4-0 with 8 points, and the Dallas Stars are now 3-0 with 6 points. I believe that's their second loss in a row. I'm already losing my voice. Next up, New York Rangers 3-2 over the Colorado Avalanche in the shootout. In the first, we start off with the Rangers. The Rangers won. I just realized that. What? Wow. Okay. In the first, the Rangers, Krieger gets his 3rd goal of the year, if that's how you pronounce his name, on the power play, assisted by Shattenkirk and Zuccarello. Colorado answers with Landeskog on the power play as well, his 2nd of the season, assisted by Jost and Barry. The Rangers answer with Hayes, has his 1st goal of the year, if that is how you pronounce his name, assisted by Zuccarello, who gets his 2nd of the night, as well as Shattenkirk. Colorado ties it up again with McKinnon, gets his 7th of the season. That's 7 goals, 6 games, not bad for McKinnon. Landeskog gets his 2nd assist of the night, and also assisted by Ratinen. The third period, there was no goals. No score in overtime either. The shootout, Zuccarello and Shattenkirk scored, and for the Avalanche, it was Ratinen. The Rangers went 1 for 5 on the power play. Colorado took a lot of penalties. The Rangers had one penalty, which was a 5-on-3 in the second period, I believe, and they didn't score on it. Yeah. And then the Avalanche went 1 for 3 on the power play. Lundqvist saved 31 of 33 shots, pretty decent. Had a good night. Varlamov saved 41 of 43 shots. He's on his game too. The Rangers are now 2-4-0 with 4 points. And the Avalanche are 3-1-2 with 8 points. Next up, Philadelphia Flyers beat the Florida Panthers 6-5 in the shootout. I saw this game. This was exciting, yet very frustrating to watch at the same time. Florida played really decent in the first, and then just their defensive coverage is just awful. The giveaways on paper, they have such a great defense, but Ekblad gave away the puck. It led directly to a goal. I can't blame too much of this on Hutchinson, really. Maybe 1 or 2 goals, maybe 1 goal especially, but Florida was just awful in their own zone. They did wake up in the third to an extent. Anyways, let's get on to the scoring. Florida opens up with Vetrano with his first goal of the season, assisted by Maglin and McCann. Then the Flyers answers. Simmons gets his 4th of the year, assisted by Sanheim and Gudas. Flyers score again. It's now 2-1. Wheel gets the goal, assisted by Hag and Cockney. Flyers score again. It's now 3-1. Giroux gets his second goal of the night. Flyers are obviously waking up in the second period here, and that was unassisted. Florida answers back, gets her second goal. It's now 3-2. Vetranos gets his second of the night, and McCann gets a second assist, also assisted by, how do you pronounce Pisk? He assisted. And this was a crazy second period. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goals in the second period. Anyways, Flyers answer. Simmons gets his second goal of the night, his 5th of the season, assisted by Lawton and Folan. They score again, so now it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4-2 now. 5-2. Giroux pots his 3rd of the season, assisted by Wheel and Gostisfire, the Ghost. And Barkov seals off the second period with his second goal of the season on the power play, assisted by Hoffman and Yandel. The power play looked pretty decent too. In the third period, Philly's got this game, right? They're winning 5-3. Yeah, sure. No. Florida wakes up all of a sudden. Dadonov gets a second of the season, assisted by Kislevich. He's the Russian they got out of the KHL, if I'm not mistaken. I mentioned him in my prediction video, if you've seen that, right? And also assisted was Brouwer on that goal. Next goal, Florida ties it up. Barkov gets his 3rd of the season, and Yandel gets his second assist, his second point of the night. Now, I forgot to mention somewhere in here, Philly pulled Elliott. I believe it was after the 4th goal that Florida scored, and they put Picard in, and Picard got scored on almost right away, like his first 2 shots on that or something like that. But he still won. He still got the win. So in overtime, there's no goals. This went to the shootout. Voracek scored for the Flyers as well as Wheel, and Barkov scored for Florida. Philly went 0 for 2 on the power play. Florida went 1 for 3. Florida, I'll mention, was one of 3 teams who hadn't scored on the power play yet this season. The others are LA and Vegas, and then there'll be an update on that in a little bit. So now all that's left is Vegas and LA, who have not scored on the power play. Elliott saved 19 of 23 shots. Hutchinson saved 21 of 26. This was not a goaltending duo. Yeah. Goaltending duo. I didn't mean duo, I meant, you know what I meant. And so now the Flyers are 0-2-2 with 2 points. Is that right? 0-2-2 with 2 points. That can't be correct. I must have mixed that up. The Flyers are 3-3-0 with 6 points, and Florida is 0-2-2 with 2 points. I guess I was writing this so fast I wrote them backwards. In any case, let's move on to the next game. Long video. Okay, Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Carolina Hurricanes 4-2. Am I still on screen? Yeah, I am. Okay, we start off with Carolina. Ferland, who's just keeps on going, doing really well in that first line. He scores his 4th of the season from Teravainen and Aho. That line is just killing it. Next, Tampa Bay answers with Johnson, who gets his 1st of the season shorthanded, assisted by Joseph and Girardi. That's it for the first. In the second period, Johnson gets his 2nd goal of the season and of the game, assisted by Earn and JT Miller. Carolina answers. It's now 2-2. He scores his 1st goal of the season. Fogle gets an assist, and so does Zykov. Third period, Lightning score. Gord gets his 2nd of the year on the power play, assisted by Palat. And Johnson gets the hat trick, gets his 3rd goal of the game, assisted by Kucherov and Girardi, who picks up another point on the night. Now, Tampa Bay was 1 for 1 on the power play. Carolina only took 1 penalty. Is that the way they play, which is a very hustling kind of game now, the kind of game Brindamore's got them playing, the grinding game, and they only took 1 penalty. Anyways, you don't want to take penalties against Tampa Bay anyways. Can I say anyways again? Yeah, I just did. Then the Carolina Hurricanes went 0 for 4 on the power play. For Tampa, the backup played Dominique. He saved 38 of 40 shots. This is the guy who was getting beaten up in Phoenix last year and went to Tampa Bay, went 7-3-1. Yeah, so shows what happens when you have a decent defense. Tampa is now 3-1-0 on the season with 6 points, and Marzik was in net for Carolina. He saved 23 of 26, and I don't know what Carolina's going to do with that goaltending. I think McElhinney's, and Darling's still injured, I believe. Anyways, Carolina's now 4-2-1 with 9 points, and they're still, even after that loss. I mean, they lost to Tampa. We'll see how that goes for them. Next up, Minnesota Wild 2-1 over the Arizona Coyotes. Start off in the first. Perlini scored his 1st goal in the power play, assisted by Osterl, and Hinestroza. I like saying that name. That's it for the first. The second period, Minnesota bites back. Granlund gets a 2nd of the season, assisted by Spurgeon. And then that's it for the second. In the third period, Stahl gets a 2nd of the season, assisted by Zucker and Suter. These are 2 really low-scoring teams so far this season. This might have not been a great game to watch. Maybe it was. I'm just assuming that because of the low score. But in any case, the Wild went 0 for 2 on the power play. Arizona went 0 for 3. That's something they got to work on. And Dubnyk for the Wild made 31 of 32 shots. Saved 31 of 32 shots. The Wild are now 2-2-2 with 6 points. And the Coyotes' Kemper saved 26 of 28. Not too shabby. And they are now 1-4-2. 1-4-0, with 2 points. Ouchie. Now we have the Edmonton Oilers face off against the Winnipeg Jets. The Oilers win this 5-4 in overtime. Winnipeg opens the scoring. Lowry has a 2nd of the year, assisted by Tanev. Lowry scores a goal again, gets his 3rd goal of the season, assisted by Perreault and Cup. Oilers get on the board. Obviously scores the 1st goal. By that I mean McDavid. That's his 3rd of the season. Scored on the power play, assisted by Draisaitl. And so now it's 2-1 Winnipeg. Now 3-1 Winnipeg. Sherratt gets his 1st of the season, assisted by Ehlers and Kulikov. I should have watched this game. This looked like a really exciting game to watch. Can imagine what the building would have been like. So that was it for the first. In the second period, Scheifele, who's had a bit of a slow season so far, gets his second of the year on the power play, assisted by Laine and Morrissey. That's it for the second. In the third period, it's all Oilers. They just take over. From the second, at the end of the second period, the Jets are now ahead 4-1. 4-1. How does Winnipeg let this game slip away from them? In the third, to start off the third, Ratty gets his first, finally, of the season. He was doing really well in the preseason. Hopefully this is his awakening. That was assisted by McDavid, who gets his second point of the night, and Clefbaum. Oilers, so that's now 4-1. That's now 5-1. Hold on. Do some counting, some math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-1. Yeah. 4-1, it's now 4-2. McDavid scores 4-3, and that's his fourth of the season, his second of the night on the power play from Nugent Hopkins, hello Clarice, and Draisaitl, who gets his second assist. That was a callback to that movie, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Oilers are back in the game. Oh, there's Super McDavid, or McDavid Man, or however you want to, Bat McDavid, Green McDavid. No. Anyways, so Pulvari ties the game. He ties the game, scores his first of the season, assisted by Nugent Hopkins, who gets his second point of the night, and McDavid, who gets his his third or fourth point of the night. I can't keep up with him. In overtime, Nurse scores, gets his first of the season, assisted by Nugent Hopkins. That's his third point of the night. Yeah, third point of the night. Edmonton goes 2 for 2 on the power play. I didn't know the power play was so deadly. The Jets go 1 for 3. Talbot saves. This was not a goaltending duel either. Duel, that's the word I was looking for earlier. Talbot saves 29 of 33. Helbig saves 30 of 35. Edmonton is now 3-2-0 with 6 points. And Winnipeg is now 3-2-2 with 8 points. I wish I had watched that game. But instead, I watched this game over here as well. I watched the Philly game and I watched this Vegas-Buffalo game. The Vegas Golden Knights beat the Buffalo Sabres 4-1. Vegas looked more like Vegas of last year in this game. And Buffalo's coverage in their own zone was... I know a lot of teams' defense haven't really caught up, with the team defense. But Buffalo, Dallin as well on a couple of instances looked a little, he wasn't tying up sticks in front of the net, that kind of thing. I mean, he's good. He did make a lot of good plays in the game, but you can tell he really needs to put some meat on his bones. And yeah, anyway, so Vegas opens the scoring in the first period. Marshall Sill scores his third of the season on the power play, assisted by Carlson and Smith. In the second period, Vegas scores again. Eakin gets his third on a shorthanded, unassisted goal. Buffalo's power play looked dreadful all night. Looked awful. They were so tentative, and they were treating the puck like a grenade. It was maddening. It was just it was hard to watch. Halsey's really got to address that. And then in the third period, so it's now 2-0 Vegas. In the third period, Vegas scores, makes it 3-0. Carlson gets his second point of the game, his first goal of the season, assisted by Smith, who gets his second assist of the game. Buffalo finally gets on the board. They did wake up in the third period, and they started skating. They were in a haze the entire game up to the third, really. A goal scored by Saboka, his first of the season, assisted by Okposo, and McCabe. Okposo actually worked his tail off in the game. I would say he was probably maybe the most consistent Sabre all game long. in terms of skating and grinding it out. And then Buffalo pulled their it was 3-0. It was Buffalo had their goal. It was 3-1. Buffalo had their goalie pulled. Marchessault scored his second of the night, his fourth of the season, on an empty net, assisted by Carlson, who got his second point of the night as well. Third point, excuse me. Vegas was 1 for 3 on the power play. Buffalo's 0 for 6. Yeah. 0 for 6? Fleury saved 26 of 27 shots. Vegas are now 4-4-0 with 8 points. I believe that's Vegas' second win in a row. And it happens to be also with Fleury. He looks good. He's rounding out his game, and if he gets into a groove again, watch out. Vegas is coming for you. For Buffalo, Hutton saved 25 of 28 shots, and they're now 3-4-0 with 6 points. They were 500 until this game. For the first time, I think there was a stat thrown up during the game. This is the first time that the Sabres were 500 or over in 7 years at this point in the season. 6 games in. I'm not trying to pick on Sabre fans. I feel bad for them. There's a lot of talent. There's a good future on that team. In any case, video's getting too long. Okay, tomorrow's games. On Wednesday, October 17th, we have St. Louis versus the Montreal Canadiens. We got the New York Rangers versus the Washington Capitals. We have the Boston Bruins versus the Calgary Flames. This should be an interesting game. I'd really like to watch that. I think I work tomorrow. Might not catch it. And then there's the New York Islanders versus the Anaheim Ducks. Wow, that was a lot. Thanks for sticking with me through that. I don't know if you can even understand me half the time. I think I just put words on top of each other there. But I would really love to hear your thoughts and opinions as usual. Thank you so very much for watching. If you did like this video, please hit that like button. And if you really liked it, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. And if you know any, hockey geek friends, please don't feel shy about sharing. I'll see you soon.